Hi, this is Sonia and welcome back to my art YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a sketchbook tour. Well, this isn't anything goes. I call these anything goes journals. My last one, I think I said, I'm probably not going to do another one because I'm going to try and keep them for like more private notes. But to be honest with you, this one has a few pages that I've sort of stuck together, but really it isn't. There's not huge amounts of notes or anything that I need to keep private. And I feel like I always say this about my latest sketchbook, but I do really love this journal. I feel it's got a few ideas. If anybody likes loose, mixed media, sort of, I don't know, some encouragement or wants to feel maybe better about their sketchbooks, this is hopefully a good one to look at. So let's go with it. It is just a cheap, these ones, I've come to the end of these. These are like, I've got some cheap ones for about $5 to $6 max off Amazon. They're just blank notebooks that are sort of that moleskin Art Talon sketchbook size that I like. Here the first page, I've sort of stuck in an old card with some very old pressed flowers from that I did with the boys years ago. And I was like, oh, I do want to keep them if I can. I mean, they're falling apart. And then I just wanted to see how this paper reacted with the Japanese watercolours that I do like to use. And it buckles, but it's fine. And here I used it again. Some very quick pencil flower sketches, very loose. This is one of the things I did want to talk about. I may have mentioned it before, but I do like to, this I stuck in afterwards because I did these observational. You know, someone said, do I still do realistic drawing? And I do. I think it's important for myself. You don't have to, but this is me. I personally do want to somewhat keep up my skills in this area. And so I do like to do it from time to time. And when I end up with these sort of observational sketches, sometimes though I get a little bit bored, but I want something to jazz up the page to make it more of an interesting visual experience for myself when I look through. So I like to stick in, if I've got any odd bits of collage, just do some funny mark making. I like how I started off with this sketch from an old masters, and then I came over and you can just see the arm. Just fun stuff. So yeah, more collage here and one of the kids' old drawings. Just abstract. The point with an anything goes journal is page to page. I have no idea what I'm going to do next, and it's nice not to actually have that pressure because sometimes now we keep these sketchbooks, and like a lot of people, I have multiple sketchbooks, and I can have themes in my sketchbook. So there's something. It's freeing just not to worry about that and just to go where I go on a morning or whenever I use it. I feel like also these sketchbooks can overrun because I take them inside, take them out, keep them here. They move around and I lose them. So I like to have a few on the go, and then when I find one, I can go back into it. This is from a photo. Occasionally I would draw from the same photo, it feels like, maybe because it's a good reference photo again and again. That's not a bad thing, because then when I come back to it and do it again, I end up maybe being a bit more brave with colour choices, getting looser, sort of more like an illustration, I don't know, just having a bit more fun with the image. And I deliberately kept this. Occasionally I want to direct the eye, other times I'll stick stuff on or fill it in. Sketching from observation really quickly with a brush pen, kids waiting around to transport. Some of these pages aren't that interesting. Oh, I stuffed it up. I didn't like this sketch of the eldest. Yeah, I'm not loving that. Oh, it's quite fun to use oil pastels, different material. This I don't love this. I haven't got around to covering it up. I don't know what I think I was using a running out pen. Just felt like doodling some vases because that's quite therapeutic to me sometimes, drawing vases. And then I just went a bit crazy over the top. Abstract, but there is something here that I kind of like. So then again, like a lot of you, I have some reference books because at times I want to get off my screen for drawing and I don't want to do necessarily observational drawing. So I think this one quite calming if you've got a book to use for a reference. And the idea here is not to draw these butterflies. This was like a butterfly reference books. I'm not trying to be like a nature, at this point, a nature reporter or illustrator. I just wanted to get the shapes down and then play around. more playing around. I like this. What I love about these sort of sketchbooks is that they're so low pressure. I simply don't care that actually I end up weirdly pleased with what I do. I think I can get freer. I'm not, yeah, I'm not hesitant to start. This has come through. I actually like, this was a 3-minute sketch. It's a shame because this is obviously turned out to be an alcohol marker. And this is a lot of the time I use self-portraits because I feel I've talked about this before, but I get fed up. So if you have your own image, I don't mind. I'm not going to offend myself if I do a bad job or it doesn't look like me, or I don't know. Just so much sort of sometimes controversy in modern culture, like people, and I can't see it as my image. I can do what I want with it. Another self-portrait. Sketching some of my desk. Oh, and the other fun thing is because I feel like I've sketched myself so many times, I want to play about with my image more than I thought, let's play about with going on top of collage with the brush pen. And I really like how this has turned out. See, I could have left that blank, but just adding in, I like the sketch. I sort of stopped, ran out of time, but then just wanted to add in a bit of visual interest. This is good old fun blotting. I think it's acrylic ink, and I actually liked that blot, so I've left it. Vase of flowers. I've gone really heavy here with, do you know what? I have no idea what. Yeah, so there's something though with the green that sort of works, even though they're completely abstract, well, doodling, drawing kid. Not sure what's going on here. Occasionally I also look on museum sites, or for references online, and then that's almost given for me then to go really quickly with something I've got no way of erasing, just to see what happens, like drawing with a pen. Because sometimes I get put off drawing with pens, not being able to erase them. But I think it's just good practice. It's just, and I like the results. It's a bit looser. Oh, here I filled a brush pen up with orange ink, which is going all right actually. Drawing a Liquitex bottle. I don't know why. Okay, herbal tea box. It really does go from one thing to another. Oh, a little bit of collage. So these notes I thought I would share because an idea that I don't, feel I have to keep private, lots of artists do it, is sort of a studio journal. So here I was sort of questioning, I think I was questioning myself, like, how am I building on my work? What do I want in it? Like I felt like I was with curiosity, pushing my practice. Yeah, just going through some things. What was I feeling? What's hidden? What's revealed? Wanting to escape. Gouache. Very, see, I'm careful, there's some of these pages, turning them. I don't know what was going on here, just having fun, abstract, I guess. This one I just covered up today because I was looking through it just to sort of check there's nothing terribly personal. And there were some mushrooms and stickers, and I was like, I don't like it, really. It's not, I'm going to cover it up with this. I was going to use this as collage and draw all over it, or use it in something, but I actually thought, it's a memento from our time when we lived in Switzerland, and the kids, we used to go to this paper museum, and this one I liked as well, so I stuck it in. I was reading a Mary Fedden book, which made me think about the domestic. Drawing things in the studio with Posca. Gosh, drawing with pots, if you've got me, I don't know, maybe mine were a bit scratchy and not very good, but it's an interesting drawing with these sort of, markers sometimes. This I love. I don't know why. This is my youngest. He fell asleep reading, and I think it was from a photo, but I just did it so quick, and I feel like I like the movement. I like the lines, mark making. I've got a sticker book that the boys don't want, and I quite like the stickers. So someone's like, I'll stick them in. Abstract doodling. I don't like this page. Okay, this was on a sketch walk and just with the non-profit I work with, and so I was just out doing some sketches with them, sort of demonstrating how I like to do really quick figure drawings on the street, like capture people as quickly as possible. This one I've just added in a bit of collage. I like this. I think it's a reminder to myself, like I didn't worry about wasting paper in these really cheap sort of sketch notebooks. That simple, it does work sometimes at times. Here I think I did a video on this where I cut up an old sketchbook and I'm just reusing it. I've saved, most of it was like I got rid of, I recycled the paper, but a few bits I've kept and I've been using them to stick in and make new work, sort of make new pages with them. Here again is, I don't know what that is. So this was, I was going to be doing, we were thinking about doing a sketch walk to the Japanese tea gardens. I've never been there, but for the like advertising, I just did a quick sketch off the internet. Oh, after Chantal Joffre herself. So I was looking at her books. She did a 365-day self-portrait project. So every day drew self-portrait of herself, and she was quite like sort of loose and like wasn't glamorous. It was really quite interesting and cool. I love Chantal Joffre's. I'm not probably murdering her name. Work. So I just did one from her book. This reference photo of myself, I had this idea to do some like narrative paintings at some point. I was like, oh, the mother was asleep, you know, with her head down on the table. I guess that's how I was feeling when you talk about putting your emotions and feelings in the work. This was like a few years ago when the kids were younger, and yeah, I thought that could be a good sort of emotional piece. But I haven't really done it. I've sketched from this photo that I've did of myself a lot. I've used and every time I sketch it, it gets looser. So yeah, usual self. Sometimes if you want to do narrative pieces, and I don't know, it's a bit weird, or so kids won't help out, like they don't want to do poses, you can always use yourself. This was inspired by this segment, so I reserved this segment, and then I just sort of did the flowers in different media from it, just for fun. Oh, you know what I think I was thinking? I don't know if everyone's seen those those really cool books where they have like textile samples from France or other places, and then they have all these little samples of material. I was like, oh, that would be such a cool thing to have, but I could like maybe make my own in my sketchbook. Self-portrait. Okay, this was 6 a.m. sketching. If I'm going to draw, I think super early and it's dark and I've got artificial light on, I tend to want to personally keep it, I don't know, relatively simple subjects, abstracts. I'm not so worrying about the correct values or the correct, just getting colours correct. It's more just fun when I'm that time in the morning. Just mucking about. The self-portrait. Drawing from kids' photos. Oh, just swatching out some, I think these were the Sharpie, what are they called? Creative markers. They're really cool. Coffee cup early in the morning. Okay, not left that, but there we go. Sometimes it's very nice to have a very simple page though. I've been doing these oil pastel drawings on a paper to make a series. I like the colours, they grow. Yeah. During the summer when I was sort of offline, I actually felt, when I came back, I haven't done much art, and I hadn't at times, I really hadn't. But other times it's like when I did have a few hours, I did these spurts of trying to do a series. And then talking about having a studio journal, I think I was watching a video. I know I've spoken about Brian Gander a lot, but and he's completely a contemporary artist, like does installations, very different sort of genre subjects from me. But I find it interesting listening just to artists talk about their thoughts on art. And he was talking, and I feel this is relevant to read out because I know one of my videos, I talked about like personas, how to take your art more seriously and get into maybe, I don't know, role player persona or something, or get into you can have different art people. You can be like, one person can be different people in their art, I think. And he wrote, he has personas in his art he was reflecting on, and some of his reasoning was also, it's like a device for art therapy, for yourself to get the bad energy out. Even bad art is good. It is not about whether it's good art or bad art. It's about whether it stays in your head afterwards. And I really liked that quote. This is a quick self-portrait, and I've just stuck that on for interest. Here, I think this was me testing out some washi tape, and then I just stuck this bit in. I had some black paper and I was just seeing the effects of different material on it. Doesn't really look like me, that one. Yeah, so this has been just a place to also try out really basic ideas that sometimes have led to other works, to be honest with you. Like I've learned, like, oh, if this works well on this paper, let's try this Japanese watercolour, the same sort of thing on maybe my drawing paper and use it for collage. And also a receptacle for little bits and bobs I find that, I don't know, otherwise it's like filing them. And then you can use this. I deliberately wanted to draw from this self-portrait. Here I kept, isn't it fun if you do, I always forget to keep ticket stubs, but I was like, I went to, a friend from the UK was over, and we went to the pier with our kids and the boys. There's like a mechanical museum, what's it called? An arcade, an old-fashioned arcade. And there was one of those grandmas that, I don't know what you call them. Anyway, they give out like, you put 50 cents in and you get a bit of paper with grandmother's prophecies. And I kind of like, it says the flowers of the sort of birth dates as well, and birthstones. That was quite fun. I don't know what's going on here. This sketch I like because I went back to, this is the youngest with his cousin, and they were in the garden. They'd run away with, not run away, but they were escaped, managed to find some cans of fizzy cola and were drinking them. And I like how I've captured that really quickly. Inktense. I love this spread. This spread is really kind of, for me, the beauty of an Anything Goes journal, what you can learn from it. This was using, I reviewed a few different very soft oil pastels, and I was like, oh, I wonder, could I use them in Sketchbook, but they're so smudgy. So I did use them because this is my Anything Goes journal. Then I was like, I wonder if I put it down and press, so you can see I drew, this is the drawing with a biro or whatever that pen is, and then it went, so then it went onto that side, I guess, is it mono printing? And then I was like, okay, now I want to cover it, so then I put clear gesso on. The page is stuck, so I've got this rather fun accidental, I love the sort of tearing, and I was like, whoa, this is quite a cool, and it's fixed down relatively well now. I just really like this spread, and it's just interesting, lots of ideas. This though is a hot mess, but same time quite fun. Stickers, everything. Try to take some, because if you use yourself as obviously as a reference, but let's try and get some different angles. This eye went wrong, so I think that's why I covered it up. I just didn't know how to rectify that. But I kind of like this page. I sort of and then my nose went wrong, so I put paint and went over and over it. And then this side, I was like, let's stick in from that old sketchbook. Drawing a little house plant. Oh, this was fun. This was loads of scribbles, and I was like, I'm not sure where this is going. There's collage, scribbles on top. And then I was like, actually, you know what I'm seeing in this? I was reading a book at the time, a Lucy Clark sort of thriller book about some women on a hike. It was like a mystery. It was talking about, sort of atmospheric, like the Norway, the ridge, the mountains. So I was like, trying to imagine this. I was like, oh, can I build it up? Sort of like dark sort of mountains. But yeah, just fun. I think I do try and follow my own sort of, I know I share a lot of, a lot of lists of ideas of what to draw. And it's been on my list for ages, like read a book and then draw from that, like an illustrator. Or you could either illustrate it or just your response. This is oil pastel from a sketch. I think I talked about that before. This doesn't, these self-portraits half the time don't look, but I just kind of like, it was a reminder, go back to basics. I really like the lines. This is interesting because I started off with some collage. I think I might have based it on a road. See, that's a little post box at the end. I don't know why there's something about this, but there is for me. Here, this is almost strange because it was like a landscape and I was using up, I think I was using up some gouache, trying different materials and layering it. Bit of collage, brush pen. And then it was like deliberately, for once, I'm not sure I'd do this, you know, on a canvas or anything, but I increased, you know how you can increase hue and saturation on photos sometimes? It's like I tried to do it here, but in a very sort of expressionistic and a bit crazy way. Very quick sketch of the kids and husband on a walk going, and then I was like, I need to add some colour. So it's a bit crazy with colour. Last page. Here I have been cutting up some old work, and I think this is one where I tried to do like a still life just with markers, didn't like it. Stuck this vase on and drew this from memory, I think, and it's a bit, I don't know what to say. That's my sketchbook tour. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope maybe there's some ideas or motivation here to get, hopefully you might be sketching along as you listen to this. Anyway, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.